Alright guys, here we are with MX versus ATV Untamed. Today we're going to do a bunch of stuff in this video. We actually have Crawley Creek B, the national track here. Always really enjoyed this track. It had a great layout and it's at nighttime. As a kid, it was always fun to play tracks that were had the setting at nighttime, and I guess that just kind of stayed with me as I grew older. So yeah, pretty sweet track. That's what we have at the beginning here for you. Couple laps on this track, and then a bit later in the video we switch over to two mini moto races using the pit bike, and we top it off with some Endurocross because you guys seem to enjoy the Endurocross, so we picked a map, and that's at the very end of the video. But I kind of want to take this video to talk about a few different things and hopefully get your guys' opinions and inputs on it too, because I'm really curious how you guys feel about it, or about the few different things I want to talk about in this video. Kind of get a discussion going, I guess, because I'm really curious to see what happens, and to kind of let you know the schedule for the rest of this summer, because I'm not really sure what we're going to be getting in the way of new motocross games. So we'll just have to wait and see, and that's kind of part of the discussion that I want to have here today while we play MX versus ATV Untamed. But before we get to that part, I do want to kind of apologize for the quality of the Untamed videos, because this is significantly better than it has been in the past. But it's always kind of an adventure when I try to record on the Xbox 360, because the one I have is my original and it's really old. It's really, really old. And it's actually the second or third system I've had for the 360, because I had at least one give me the red ring. If anybody remembers that, if you had a 360, I had that happen to me, and then had to pick up another console and switch out my hard drive to that system. So I've had 2 or 3 different 360s, and this one has lasted the test of time for sure, but it's getting kind of old, and the disc tray doesn't really open anymore. It needs a ton of encouragement to actually open so I can switch out games. So, you know, I put in Untamed, and then I try to usually, if I have planned a couple videos for it, I'll do all those videos at the same time, because it's a big pain to open the tray up to switch out games. It doesn't really open. I don't know. It's really weird. So yeah, and there is, maybe you won't notice it, but you probably will now after I mention it, but there is a bit of screen tearing if you see it. I do apologize for that. It's a ton better than it was, but I'm still just having some struggles trying to find out the best way to record this, because I just don't record from the 360 very often. So yeah, I do apologize. It's not up to the standard that I have for recording games, but it is the best that I can do right now, so I do apologize. Hopefully I can improve it over time, and you know, next Untamed video, if we do another one, is a bit better than even this one. So yes, we will be jumping over into mini moto here pretty soon, and I did something a bit different. I recorded in third person, but I actually I tried to edit in a replay lap in the middle of both the mini moto races. So hopefully you enjoy that, see it from a different point of view, I guess. And then the Endurocross race is just similar to what we have here in third person. So let's jump into the topics here. I really want to get your guys' opinions on. The first one is, well, let's start here. Let's start with the summer schedule. I kind of try to upload 2 days a week, more if there's something extra that I feel like you guys would want to see or need to see. But for the most part, it's 2 or 3 videos per week, maybe a live stream. But yeah, that's kind of the schedule. And for now, Tuesdays is pretty much going to be the all-out replica video like we have been doing, and we'll do that pretty much into mid-August, I believe, once per week on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, we'll have something different for you. Maybe Supercross. I have one more pretty big video planned for Supercross 3. And I have a big MX versus ATV video planned for you. And then anytime a new custom track for Reflex comes out, we'll cover that like we normally do. But that's kind of it kind of happens in intervals where we'll get a few tracks at the same time, and then there really isn't any content on it for a few months, and then we'll get a few tracks again. So it's kind of hit and miss with that, but we will cover Reflex if anything comes out like we normally do. And so that's the games that we're going to kind of focus on here. Now, I will try to sprinkle a few different games such as Untamed here, or Alive, or MX Bikes, or something different. We'll kind of throw some of that extra stuff in there over the summer, because from what it sounds like, I don't really know if we're getting an MXGP 2020. And the reason I say that is because Ride 4 was announced for October 8, 2020, early October. So it just seems odd, because I was kind of thinking we would get Ride after MotoGP, but somewhere around summertime, early summer. That's similar to what they did with Ride 3, but that's not what's happening. So MXGP should release in summer, late summer, and they have no mention of it. They've already announced Ride 4, and so it feels like they're skipping MXGP this year with everything that's been happening. It feels like they maybe don't have a game for it. Or I know MXGP has been delayed, so last year they had the current season, and if they did that, I mean, that would be a ton of work. I don't know if they'll get that done. It'd be great if they do. I really hope they do. I mean, I have my fingers crossed that we do get a new MXGP game. It just doesn't feel like that's happening. They haven't mentioned it. They already mentioned Ride 4, so it feels weird that they would do Ride 4 and announce it before announcing a MXGP game. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I just don't feel like it's happening, which is really unfortunate, because we're a motocross channel, and that really cuts down on the content. If we were really thinking they would have an MXGP game, and it doesn't happen. So yes, let me know how you guys feel about it. If you think they're going to, or if you feel like they're skipping this year and maybe will take this year off. And if they do, I mean, I've said it too, and I know you guys have. I'm actually okay if they take a year off, if when they come back, the game is even better than it usually is. Meaning the improvements and the changes from year to year are usually pretty minimal. Minus Supercross 3, I mean, I feel like they completely overhauled that game. I mean, they did, so it can happen, but I'm hoping if they don't have MXGP next year, if they do it, it has major makeover. Like, it's way different than 2019. 2019 was okay. I liked it, but I didn't love it. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on MXGP. I just don't feel like it's happening. But let me know how you feel. And Supercross 4. So Ride 4 comes out October, which is about the time they start announcing hype for the Supercross game. Now, what do you think they're going to do with the Supercross game? Are we going to have 17 rounds based off track maps? Or are we going to have 11 or 10 rounds and then 7 rounds at Salt Lake City? I feel like they have to do the 7 rounds at Salt Lake City. I mean, it's an official game, so it has to be true to the real schedule. So I feel like we're getting 7 rounds at Salt Lake City. But is that game going to happen? I know that they said it was announced that they have plans to make a 3, 4, and 5 games for Supercross, but with the delays and everything, are they even going to be able to make the Salt Lake City, the 7 rounds at Salt Lake City? You know, did they even 3D scan all the riders? Are they going to be able to do the tracks? I mean, for all I know, maybe there was some people at the races from Milestone. I don't know, maybe. I mean, there was a limited amount of people, but Milestone would have been media, I guess. So maybe they got in. I don't know. I'm really curious to see what happens with Supercross 4, if we even get a game. I mean, I'm kind of assuming we will. It'd be kind of cool to see the 7 rounds at Salt Lake City, like in real life. I'd almost be disappointed if they didn't do that. And we had to ride 2020 East Rutherford because that track sucked. The design was awful. So it turned out good in a way that we had the 7 rounds at Salt Lake City because we avoided the abomination known as 2020 Foxborough. Was I saying East Rutherford again? Foxborough. Foxborough. I don't know why I do that. I just have in my mind that it's East Rutherford. So, sorry about that. Yeah, hopefully we get Supercross 4. And if we do, I feel like it's going to be 7 rounds at Salt Lake City. If it's an official game, it has to be almost. It'd be cool if they did a DLC with the 7 other tracks that were planned but weren't raced. That would actually be pretty sweet. They can maybe think about that. Would be kind of cool. Give more longevity to the game. That'd be a pretty massive DLC, actually. 7 tracks, but I'm down. Keeps the game going a bit longer. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. It just kind of is confusing since Ride 4 comes out, the time MXGP kind of would, and about the time that they release some news about the new Supercross game. So I don't know. It's just an odd time for Ride, I guess, and such an early announcement for the game. I mean, months and months ahead of when it actually comes out. I don't know. Just a few thoughts on that. Curious to see how it all plays out. Hopefully we get a Supercross 4 with 7 rounds at Salt Lake City and some DLC for the additional track maps. Would be sweet. I guess it kind of would have to deal with Feld to some degree on if they can do that or not. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments down below on Supercross 4 and MXGP 2020. But you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.